to reread Outlander when they started doing the TV show and so forth. It's actually still quite a good book. So no, I'm not too bothered. I am a constant rewriter. What I just showed you, what I did, I do that with every single line of every single book, and I am back and forth through a single scene probably several hundred times before I'm done with it. And every scene may take me 2 to 5 days to finish to my satisfaction. And even then, it's finished to my satisfaction at the moment. When other pieces come and join it, sometimes I will need to tweak something so that they're congruent in terms of the color of the foliage, say, or the details of the setting. If they were drinking brandy in this scene, they'd better still be taking out the empty brandy glasses and not the teacups at the end of the next. That sort of minor thing. But the emotional content does not change, and actually my writing style has not changed appreciably either. I was a professional writer for a long time before I began writing fiction. I was an academician, I was a scientist in my previous incarnation, but basically I wrote anything anyone would pay me for. And so by the time I started writing novels, I knew the nuts and bolts of writing. I knew what elegance and clarity and euphony were. And that was sort of not left me, but I did have it when I started doing that. And I've been blessed in that the people in my books talk to me. I do a lot of research and so forth on dialect and language and idiom and so forth, but they talk to me. I don't have to grope for, oh my God, what should he say next? He just says it. And so they all come together. The way that I've changed is just in terms of complexity. I really like complexity, as you may have gathered. I also like digressions, which is why I write long books. But as time goes on, I don't like to do stuff that I've done before. So in spite of the fact that I'm working with books that are essentially about the same core group of people, they get older and they change. People say, oh, don't you ever get tired of writing about the same people? I say they're not the same people. They're completely different in every book, even though they are the same people, because they're getting older and I'm getting older. And so what it is for me is a process of introspection. I could not have written the books that I'm writing now 30 years ago because I'm a different person than I was 30 years ago. And I'm the same age as my characters are. This is another reason I write slowly, is because I don't want them to outstrip me or they won't be authentic. So, I'm just sort of writing people with changing concerns, and your life gets more complex as you get older. Therefore, so do the stories. And you have children. Your children's lives are an important part of your life. You care about what happens to them. What they do impinges on you. You have to take account of them. So it's not just, you and your husband tootling through life together. I think that might be boring after a while, but as it is, your life just gets more interesting. And consequently, the words, the style, and so forth, these are the basic craft. But what I like to play with is structure. The first novel was a straight linear narrative in the first person, which I did because it was the easiest thing to do, and I was writing the book for practice. Okay, second book comes along. The middle part of it is again linear narrative in the first person, but it has a framing story on either end, which is a back and forth between that first person 20 years later and a young man who's trying to find out what the mystery of the woman's life is. And then there's a framing story at the other end, which kind of ties it all up. Third story has a braided narrative. You have Jamie waking up on the field at Culloden thinking he's dead. He's not, and therefore is forced to live his life forward, and we go forward with him. Claire, meanwhile, 20 years on in 1968, is telling her story backwards to her daughter and Roger, the young man. And Roger, who is doing the detective work to find out where Jamie is at this point in time, is the turning point between those two narratives. And so we're braiding those three together until she goes back and finds Jamie, and then it falls back into the linear narrative. Anyway, all of the books have an internal geometry, and that's what I play with. You don't even want to know what the present one looks like.